When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever Podcast. Well, welcome everyone to our Financial Freedom Forever podcast. Thanks for joining us today. I have a good friend and business partner of mine, Drew Betz, on today. You guys are in for a treat. I'm looking forward to unpacking Drew's story. Welcome, Drew.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What I understand, Drew, I know you were born and raised in Iowa, but you just moved to Florida in 2013, and you told me you got your real estate license in 2014, and then jumped right in and was one of the top agents, rookie of the year, you said, right? Rookie of the year for Keller Williams when you first started your first year in 2015, and we're rocking there and grew a nice team. I know some of the numbers that you had shared with us that your total production was 200 million, and in today is almost 300 million in production, and that's pretty impressive. So we're looking forward to unpacking what's helped you be so successful. And thanks for joining us again today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So let's just unpack it right from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about your real estate background, your career. I just kind of hit the highlights there so people know that we have a rock star agent here in front of us. And I want to welcome all the viewers. Make sure to put in your comments or questions for Drew into the chat box, and we'll go ahead and ask away. But go ahead and give us your background, Drew.
Sure. Well, like you said, I started, really got going in 2015. I knew, pretty much from the get-go that, I was going to at some point build a team. The pieces started falling in place. My wife at the time also got licensed and joined me. And we went on to be the number one Keller Williams team in the Southwest Florida region in 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So how many agents were on your team when you were with Keller Williams doing all that volume?
I think we were at 12.
About 12?
12 agents.
And being a newer agent, relatively a newer agent, in the industry, give us some of your secrets of being able to start building a team in your early end of your career.
Absolutely. So what I immediately identified, was, finding the right CRM and how crucial the right CRM was to this business. And, I looked at Follow Up Boss and, obviously KW had their CRM, which was a joke, right? I forget what it was even called, Edge or something.
Command, wasn't it?
Well, that's what it was towards the end, but
okay.
Real Geeks, and so anyway, long story short is settled on Boomtown. Boomtown, easily, from other people I talked to, said how user friendly it was, how inclusive it was, tying your website, everything together. And so after a few interviews with Boomtown, jumped on that platform and haven't changed since. So that alone, I think what people, forget is that, like I teach my agents is, it's your accountability partner. It keeps you organized. It's kind of it's your business all in one spot. Right. And so it's a crucial part. If you don't have a good CRM in this business, you're behind big time. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember our first one was Top Producer before it was live online, and you had to we had to sync it every day.
Right.
Right?
We did before Boomtown. We did try top producer, I think, for about a year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Now we have, within EXP, we have KV Core, and I know I use that daily, and it's been working well for me. But so tell us a little bit more about, what does it take to become successful like yourself and selling over, $300 million worth of real estate and start building a team like you have?
Well, I think it starts really with the basics, right? This business, as I've groomed the agents over the years, is really, it's really the fundamentals are pretty simple, right? It's, putting time in, following up, staying organized, and that's really, that's about it. I'm making the calls, right? So if you're not making the calls, you're not making the contacts, you're not, making the appointments, you can't expect much out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, obviously, we've had, Tom Ferry training over the years, which has been instrumental into, agent growth and also business growth. And honestly, beyond that, that's really about it. And I applied my basic, principles of running my retail operation prior to this to my business practices going forward. So that's really, in a nutshell, that's about it. It's not real difficult.
Yeah, I mean, all the basics. It's getting the coaching, the training, and investing in yourself so that you're aligning yourself with people that are where you're at, and they've already
Right.
done where you want to be, right? When I invested in our coaching in the beginning, I went from 40 deals a year to 79 to 109. And my partner and I were doing 300 units a year. But it didn't really, it took 7 years to get from 0 to 40 as a single agent. And then we got some coaching and training and started doing some good marketing and leveraging yourself with a few key people. We started doubling and tripling, right?
Exactly.
So that's, that's some of a lot of the basics. Now, how long were you just a solo agent? And then when did you start building a team? And then after that question, I'd ask you is, why should someone join a team?
Okay. Yeah. So within the end of my first year, I started building a team. Obviously learned a lot in that first year, as far as, my expectations and what I quickly realized that what I was expecting was not realistic. So that was quite interesting. And I'm sorry, what was your other question?
Why should someone, build a team?
I think, the primary reason why I built a team was, to build a business that, worked for me, right? If you're a single agent, right, it's up to you and you only, right? But I looked at it as, look, if I can invest, into multiple agents and help them grow, my business grows at the same time. So that was kind of the mindset, is that, and I enjoy helping people succeed. And I have many success stories over the years where, agents that thought that they couldn't do this business and ended up turning into, rock star agents simply by changing their mindset, changing their routine, and again, getting the fundamentals and basics down and start having the conversations. And next thing you know it, they're selling real estate. So.
Yeah, there's definitely some rock star agents out there. Most of them start off as a solo agent, but most of the entrepreneurial ones, they want to start leveraging just like a broker owner and start building a team. I did the same thing. That's how, when I went from 40 to 79, we're just getting a buyer agent and then finally an administrative person. I should have, if I would have listened to my coach, I would have got the buyer agent and the admin at the same time. And I could have went from 40 to 109 units probably in 1 year instead of 2. But we all learn from our experiences, right?
You bet. You live and learn.
Here, a top agent at KW, a large team, really rocking it. I'm sure you're, pretty happy with your business. How did you hear about EXP, and why did you take a look at it?
So, pre-COVID, there was, I think that's when, EXP kind of really, in my mind, started to become, more, I say, evident in our market, and started getting some traction. So I started noticing that. And so at that same time, I believe my Tom Ferry coach, Jared Davis, had also joined EXP. So being he was the coach, obviously the conversation started, and questions started, spiraling from there. And, and one thing, as he knows is that, we were very committed to KW, and, and it was very hard to, there's all the same worries like, oh, well, am I going to lose, clients and prospects because I make a brokerage change and all this stuff. And, am I going to have agent fall off and all that? And, so those are all the things that, we were looking at and, trying to decipher, what the risk reward was going to be. And, finally in January of 2021, we finally made the decision to make the change.
All right, fantastic. And what happened? I mean, did you lose any clients? Did you lose any business? Did you lose any agents? And you've basically been in EXP for a year and a month now. I think because it was May when you actually joined, right? You decided in January,
Right.
but made the move in May. Give us a 1-year review from beginning to now.
Well, it didn't happen quite as planned.
Okay.
You throw a divorce in there and that expedites things. So May of March of 2021, my wife and I split, and that's where in May I moved most of the team with me to EXP.
Okay.
And she stayed with Keller Williams. So
some personal, hey, we get some personal things in the middle of all that, right? Definitely life there's always a handful of curveballs. So most of the team came with you. And how's your business been in the last 12 months, 13 months with EXP?
Well, I would say given the change in the circumstances, I think fairly well, hitting the icon status, I guess.
Yeah, congratulations.
So, I think at this point, there's always room for improvement, but, so far so good. Like everybody I think says, I think my only regret is maybe not making the move to EXP sooner than later, Yep. You don't know what you don't know. Right. So yeah.
What would you give anybody some advice? I mean, I've talked to a lot of Keller Williams agents, and they love the company. They love the collaboration, and it is a great company. What would you say to people like yourself? You were going through those other things. Hey, would we lose business? Would we lose people? But in the next sentence, you just said you wish you would have came over sooner. So what would you say to somebody that's happy where they're at? It doesn't have to be KW. It could be anywhere. But why should they look at EXP?
Well, I think, as any business owner, right, you always should be open-minded. And I think, and always be willing to look at avenues to, better your business, right? And so one thing that I've realized over the last year is, EXP does an extremely good job. I think far as, getting, questions answered, handling of files, the process is honestly, in my opinion, far as, not just as a single agent, but as a team owner, like EXP handles it 10 times better than Keller Williams does.
Wow.
So, yeah. One instance, I like how EXP has your team members sign a actual EXP agreement, with your team members, where Keller Williams does not do that.
Team agreement. So everyone knows exactly what the agreement is.
Exactly.
From agent to team leader.
Yep, exactly. And of course the benefits of, now being an icon agent, right, is that now I can recoup basically my $16,000 in cap back in stock, where I look at 7 years, with Keller Williams, and I didn't have that opportunity. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure. So 7 years at KW, you were, the last 4 or 5 years, obviously were, one of the number one teams. You didn't have any ownership in KW, and you never got any stock back or any of your percentage that you paid in back.
So to my knowledge, I don't think they've gone public yet, right?
I don't think so.
I think I heard some rumblings a while back, but still nothing, right? So no, nothing back. However, towards the tail end, when they started to realize that we were focused on growth, they came to the table with a agent cap rebate program, where basically we got rebated back, half of an agent, for every team member on our team, we got rebated back at each quarter, half of those caps. So it became more appealing. However, again, considering, the size of our team and the, whatnot, and with EXP, having the lower splits for the team members, that's where, again, when we looked at the numbers, as far as growth and again, what's in the best interest of the agents, EXP became very clear. That's where it was at.
How has your team members, how they've been able to benefit with using the EXP model compared to the Keller Williams model?
Yeah, I think if I were to ask them, I think they like the ability to get the 10% discount on each transaction. So they're starting to build some independent wealth, where they didn't
Right.
They didn't focus or even think about it before, right? And so when that 10% of that commission goes into stock, right, it's out of sight, out of mind. And
Right. You're talking about the agent equity program where they can take, I think it's 5% of every paycheck.
I'm sorry, 5%.
The company will automatically take out that 5%, but give them a 10% discount. They can buy it at a 10% discount, basically. And they just make it really easy for agents to start building a portfolio in the company that they are part of.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it creates, that ownership, right? Like, oh, I have, stock in the company that I work for, which, I think most people don't think about.
Right. Yeah, that's been a big benefit for a lot of agents. And of course, team members are either on an $8,000 cap or even a $4,000 cap if they're a mega team of 10
Right.
agents or more. So that's a big draw as well. Awesome. Now, you say you heard about EXP from your real estate coach, Mike Ferry coach, Jared. And what were the top 1 or 2 things that he shared that really excited you to really dig into it and do your due diligence to make the move?
Yeah, 2 components, I would say: the revenue share setup of EXP, and then also the flexibility with the team structure / business center or business center program that we are in the midst of developing. So, the model of everything, fit exactly the growth plan that that I was looking for. So, and to reap the benefit of, building those, bringing those agents in, whether they work for my team or the business center, and reaping the benefits of the revenue share program.
Okay. Now I understand, Keller Williams has a profit share program. Same, because of course EXP copied the Keller Williams 7-level, model for that payout. But the huge difference is they pay from profit share, and of course EXP pays on revenue share, which is off the top before expenses.
Right.
Have you seen that to be a huge difference in your organization?
Yeah, immediately the numbers are, substantially more appealing, so, being I was, with Keller Williams for 7 years, my profit share is not that, it's not that great. So, again, like you said, it boils down to the market center that you're part of, right? And so at the end of the day, what's left after the brokerage pays their expenses, they disperse into profit share. And at the end of the day, if the market center isn't profitable, you're not getting profit share.
So that's a key component there, because you just said it depends on the market center that you're currently in. So you could be the top team having the best year of your life, but if the rest of the people in that building, in that market center, if they're not really killing it, then, and there's not a lot of profit, you're not getting too much benefit. And with EXP, it really doesn't matter if you're in, no matter where you're located, right? Or who the people around you. If your team is killing it and you're killing it, you're going to be rewarded.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's you're 100% correct. And so, there was a market center nearby that, didn't pay out a dime in profit share for, I think, a little over 2 years. So,
Wow.
I think they, kind of bring you in because of that profit share, but at the end of the day, they're not really full disclosure as to how that profit share is dispersed.
Yeah, I know it's been a game changer for me on the revenue share. For sure. It's been, I've never seen anything like it. I personally only shared the opportunity currently with under 25 producing agents. And you don't have to be producing, right? I mean, there's no penalty or minimum or maximum. But of course, only people, everyone's getting paid as people are selling houses, because that's what we are. We're a real estate company that's selling a ton of houses. But with 24 or 5 top producing agents, that's turned into over 780 something for me in 3 years. And the revenue share has just been kind of unbelievable, and it just continues to grow. And that doesn't include the houses that you're personally selling. That's just your team and your EXP team, right? And it's not just in your market, right? You're in Sarasota, Florida, but here you're actually part of my team, through Jared, who's friends with my first Canadian, Pierre, that I shared this opportunity with, right?
Right.
So that's, how amazing is that, right? I shared this with a friend in Canada, in a different country, and now I have a rock star like you in Sarasota, and we all growing together.
It is. I love it.
It's a beautiful thing. What are some of the things that you do on a daily basis? Some of the fundamentals that are helping you be successful, so our team member, our listeners, get a lot of value today out of what we want to share, so they can start doing and having a business like you had.
Well, personally, I've with this market that we're in, we've revamped our marketing plan extensively, and primarily I'm shifting my focus, where before I was, I'd take whatever I get, mainly it would be buyers, but I'm going to focus on listings going forward. And prior to this, my wife handled the listing side of the business, and I handled the buyer side. So this transit, the timing of this is, in my opinion, ideal. So one of the things that we've enlisted in is Vulcan 7 to generate the call lists. And like I said, we put together a pretty extensive marketing plan with direct mail, postcards, flyers, that will, obviously follow up with, phone calls, and then obviously nurturing my past client database and, looking for referrals. Prior to the departure from Keller Williams, my last year with them, 70% of my business was referral based. So, I'm hoping to get back to that point here next year.
All right, fantastic. If you could do, I mean, you've been in EXP for just a year, basically. If you could do it all over again, is there anything that you would do differently?
As far as when I jumped on board with EXP?
Yeah, as far as timing or anything, just so people can learn from what you would do different, if there's anything that you would.
Boy, that's a good question. I would say that my only regret, just because, again, running a team, I think my only regret was not moving to EXP sooner than later. I think, I look at again, at the end of the day, the money opportunity and, capitalizing on the growth, the EXP stock that, EXP offers as far as, different milestones you hit and all that stuff. So really, I mean, and I think, the model of EXP, is more conducive than Keller Williams. So yeah, I think my only thing I would have changed is just made the change, sooner than later.
Wish you would have joined earlier. I know I asked that question to all my guests. 9 out of 10 times is the same thing, is they wish they would have done it sooner.
Right.
Oh, what do you think holds people back? I mean, what could you have done differently? Do you think you when you did your due diligence, you just didn't put a lot of time and effort into it because you were just busy and it wasn't, top priority? Or what was that for you?
So honestly, it was when I joined Keller Williams back in 2014. Keller Williams in the Sarasota market actually was fairly new, and Keller Williams, I did not feel like was a household name. So it was a lot of overcoming, who is Keller Williams, and.
Really?
Yeah. So, that at that time, when I look back, Keller Williams was the small guy in the field. And where now, last year when I left, they were, the number one, fought for the number one spot, between Coldwell Banker in this market. So substantial growth, it had happened over 7 years. So, honestly, like I said earlier, is that the same thing a couple of years ago was with EXP, our market share just wasn't that strong. And now that we're gaining market share, the conversations are getting easier, and, people aren't, you do get occasionally people not familiar, never heard of EXP. But I do believe, like I tell all my agents, at the end of the day, it doesn't particularly matter, what brokerage you work for. It's all about you as an agent.
Right.
And, that client is going to either list or buy with you because of you, not typically because of what brokerage. Now, I say that with a little hesitation because in years past, I had clients that specifically wanted a Keller Williams agent because they had a great experience with, an agent, up north or whatever. And, in my head, I'm thinking, well, that's all great, but what you're not realizing, it had nothing to do with what brokerage you're working for. It had to do with the agent that you're dealing with. But
100%.
That's okay. Think what you want to think, I guess. So.
Right. Well, what do you what's your future look like? What's your goals for the next 2 to 5 years? Where do you see your business here with EXP and your team and where you're headed?
Yeah, so I hope within the next year I have an office to move back into. My goal is also to, like I said before, have a setup where not only am I running my team on one side, but running the business center model on the other side, where if they're not a right fit for the team, they have a business center to join and build my business that way.
Okay.
that's the start. I hope, in 3 to 5 years, I hope, maybe I'm at, 30 to 50 agents between the two and, doing some serious business. So.
Well, I'm sure you'll get there. I mean, you've been super successful before, and hey, there's always a little bit of change, especially when there's some personal stuff in there as well. But I'm looking forward to seeing your business continue to grow, and you got all of your team members of your network above you that are all here and ready and willing, able to help you in any way that we possibly can. That's for sure.
No, I really appreciate that. And that's, also something that, you didn't really have. And I felt like at Keller Williams, you were just a number, right? They get their cap dollar. And at that point, they, whether you did 20 million or essentially 2.5 million to cap, essentially it didn't really matter to them, right? Because they get the same amount of dollar amount, whether you did 20 million in a calendar year or 2.5, 3 million. So,
and is the big difference with EXP and your network here? Do you feel it's because of the financial alignment that we have, that we're all owners, and that's why we're all working as hard as we can to help all of our team members that are in our network? Is that the main reason, or are there other reasons you think in your experience?
Yeah, I think that is a big component. Honestly, I think there seems to be a different mindset with the individuals that I've seen that have made the move or joined EXP, and I think too it's kind of interesting, but the agents that have gravitated towards EXP are the people that you and I want to align ourselves with. So yeah, it is definitely true. I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah, I think we really attract the people that really want to grow. I mean, if you're somewhere and you're comfortable and you're happy where you're at, and you're not interested in doing more, you're not interested in helping more people and growing your business, then it may not be a good fit. But I'm finding the people that they want, they're not happy where they are, and they could be at they could be selling 300-400 homes a year, but they want to get to the next level. And that's why I believe no matter what level you're at, there's always another level.
Right.
And I believe you surround yourself with other people that are doing 10, 20 times more than you and me put together. We all pull each other up, and we all get to that next level that much faster.
Absolutely. To that point, I think, what I've noticed over the last year is a lot of big name teams across the country, that have joined EXP, which I think, speaks volumes, for the same reasons probably why, I moved to EXP, right? So, obviously they're seeing the same benefits, or potential, for growth in their business that, that I was, and, they were as well. So.
We're looking forward to seeing you at the shareholder summit here next week in Orlando. I know we have team members from all across the country that are flying in to come to that event, and looking forward to seeing you personally. And one last question I normally ask people before we sign off: if you're a reader, what's your favorite book that you like to recommend? Or if you're a movie watcher, what's your best all-time movie that you like to recommend?
The one thing, I think in this business, I can't emphasize enough to my agents and anybody getting into this business is, I think it's so easy to be, spread yourself so thin and, be bouncing all over the place. But you really need to, focus on one thing and really excel at it, and the rest will start to fall into place. So.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for your time today, Drew. Any last final thoughts or comments that you'd like to share before we sign off?
No, I think, look, if you're considering, making a switch, it never, it's never going to hurt to, take a look at, what's out there. Right. So, I think, when you look at what's going to grow your business and grow your personal financial wealth, there's not another brokerage out there that I know of that's, in my opinion, focused, more on agent growth than EXP.
Right. And it's not an agent growth as far as helping the company grow, but agent growth as far as helping agents grow their own business as well. Correct?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate your time today, Drew. Now, if anyone's in Sarasota, or what areas that you cover, because I know you're looking to build your team, we got your phone number on the screen there. Is that the best way for someone to reach out to you if they like to learn more about maybe joining your team, or just learn a little bit more about EXP, even if they're not thinking about making a switch? I tell people they got to just take a look and do the math,
Right.
because it'd be financially irresponsible for you. For you not to take a look at this, what it could do for your family financially. So is that the best number for people to reach out to you? Is there any other way?
Nope, that's my cell phone number. So yeah, feel free to reach out anytime. But the areas that my team cover pretty much from the Palmetto Parish area, Bradenton, Sarasota, down to the Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte area. So I've got agents pretty much spread out, pretty much here in the whole Southwest Florida region. So.
All right, fantastic. And of course, because the way our model works, if you're watching this and you know Drew, you can be anywhere in all 50 states, 9 provinces of Canada, and I think we're in 22 countries now. So because of our cloud-based brokerage, you don't have to be in Florida, and you can still be on Drew's EXP Global team and take advantage of what he's been able to do to grow his business. And I know he'll pour into yours as well.
Yep.
All right, fantastic. Look forward to seeing you next week at our conference in Orlando. And thanks for taking the time and joining us on our Financial Freedom Forever podcast today, Drew.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you.